Super. There we go. Hi, Samaha. Hi, Mati.
Hello.
Brilliant. All right. So welcome, everybody. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, and welcome to the Luxembourg Unicorn Pitch event. There will be a few more judges straggling in over the next few minutes, so just bear with us as we get things moving. My name is Lisa Salud. I'm the general partner of R3i Capital and the founder of R3i Ventures in our House of DeepTech and House of MedTech. I'm joined here today by my illustrious colleagues, Peter Hlavnica, flying to you from Singapore. Say good day, Peter. There we go. And Ian Creswell, who's our Chief Entrepreneur in Residence in Luxembourg.
Hi, everyone.
All right, for those of you who don't know us, we are a deep tech and medtech investor based in Singapore, Luxembourg, and soon to be Texas, with 12 footprints around the world. And we're the licensed partner of She Loves Tech in Western Europe, the Nordics, Japan, and Korea, and Greece. We are really delighted to bring Unicorn Pitch to Luxembourg. As you know, it's a really challenging time for everybody in the capital markets, and in particular, at this moment, all over the world, early stage investment is down. We decided that we would look out to our network and find everybody still deploying and bring them to Luxembourg to provide you with an opportunity to fill those rounds. So thank you to our illustrious judges. I'll just go around the room and give you an opportunity to introduce yourselves. And I might hand over to you, John, from Japan.
Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's 10 p.m. in Japan, so a little bit late, but very happy to be here. Thank you so much, Lisa, for inviting me. Good to see everyone. Hope your families, friends staying safe, healthy, happy, and crazy. So best luck to all of you. I'm a director of Startup Grind Fukuoka, and then also starting Nagoya chapter of Japan, and director of Startup, actually ambassador of Startup World Cup, largest pitch competition from Silicon Valley, and also part of the Lisa's acceleration program. Very happy to support deep tech and medtech startups. And also we are helping many Web3 startups from around the world. So best luck today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. And it's a great pleasure to have you with us at R3i. I'd like to hand over to Yuri. Yuri, would you like to introduce yourself? I'm going to shine the spotlight on you.
Yeah. It's good to be here. My name is Yuri. I am from PP Digital. We were the fastest growing VC fund in Ukraine previous year. And I'm proud to present Ukraine and Unicorn Pitches. We invest fintech, deep tech, gaming, space tech in Ukraine, Europe, and North America. We invest startups on early stage and the seed stage. Our whole team in Ukraine now. We're not right now in investment mood. We're more caring about our current liquidity and helping our existing startups. Glad to see here so good selection of startups and judges. Wish good luck and perfect funding.
Thank you, Yuri. And there's never been a better time to identify more opportunities for the pipeline. So thanks so much for joining us. I'm going to hand over to you, Anastasia.
Thank you. I represent Deep Knowledge Group. We are the consortium that builds a longevity ecosystem, as well as we invest on a deal-by-deal basis in the most interesting and attractive startups in the longevity and deep tech industries, as well as we accelerate our own fintech startup, which I'm also leading. It's Longevity Card, and hope that all the startups today will get their investors, and good luck to everyone.
Thank you so much, Anastasia. And our special guest of today, Stefan Peisch. I'm going to hand it over to you, Stefan.
Yes, thank you, Lisa. So I'm Stefan. I'm heading the Luxembourgish Private Equity and Venture Capital Association. So it's a 250 big association with many general partners, venture capitalists, but also investors. certainly also many specialists around and interested by technology. And on our side, what we do around technology is certainly working with, for example, our friends from Lux Innovation and some other incubators in Luxembourg. So we are part of the active ecosystem. We have, let's say, more mature investors interested by then your very promising firms. And then that's why we organized in the past dedicated VC club meetings. We also have a few corporate venture capitalists, and also organized in the past around our flagship conference, the startup funding track, which is then a kind of nice meeting where many of our mentors and coaches are helping them, the founders, to reach out to them, give them the right vocabulary, the right KPIs and attitudes to have in the future in order to become even more successful. But that's in a nutshell what we do. So we love tech for sure, and always eager to hear more about new technologies and then very creative people.
Wonderful. Thank you, Stefan. Thanks for taking the time to join us. And I'd like to hand over to you, Alvin Kirsting.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alvin. Effectively, what we do is help early stage companies realize that they can actually access the capital markets. So we help them raise some capital on the path toward going public and creating international market awareness on the two largest capital markets in North America and Europe.
Brilliant. Thanks, Alvin. Great to have you with us here at Unicorn Pitch Luxembourg.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to hand it over now to our own Peter Hlavnica to introduce R3i Ventures.
Mute. Hello, everyone, and good luck to everyone pitching today. I'm Peter. I'm based in Luxembourg, working with Lisa for about 2 years now, or probably more than that now. Time's running. Lisa already introduced R3i, but we're focusing on the DeepTech, MedTech, obviously. We have, teams all around the world, obviously in Luxembourg, North America, Singapore, but also Middle East, Japan, and so on, and Europe, obviously. And my specialty is intellectual property. So this is basically most of the time I spent looking at the companies and founders that have a technology background and can back up their business with some good patents and technology. Good luck again.
Fantastic. Thank you. And over to you, Gajo.
Thank you, Lisa. Greetings to everyone. I see there's a lot of familiar faces from the previous pitches through Startup Network or other European events. Since we know each other well, I will not go with a full introduction. So here I'm representing a group of investors from Southeast Europe, encompassing successful managers and members of Serbian Management Association, which I lead through Serbian Management Association in the past 4 years, and 2 multifamily offices that have their origin from Switzerland and from Austria. And we generally invest in fintech, health tech, and in some cases in industry agnostic. And we are really keen to learn more about Luxembourg startup ecosystem and looking forward to this event. So guys, I wish you a lot of success, and I'm ready to listen to your pitches. Thank you, Lisa, once more.
Thanks, Gajo. And any other investors who have joined us today who I have not yet introduced? Your last chance. Okay, we have a few still to join us. I'm going to take this opportunity to introduce our own Ian Creswell, our Chief Entrepreneur in Residence, to introduce Luxembourg and our Unicorn Pitch event today. Over to you, Ian. Why should these founders consider not only their own investments here in Luxembourg, but doubling down on those investments in Luxembourg and scaling broadly internationally with us?
Yeah, no, it's an excellent question, Lisa, and I'll try and give a few pointers if I can to try and convince people that Luxembourg is the place to be. Obviously, it's a decision that R3i, we've gone through this process. We've asked ourselves, why Luxembourg? Should we be there? And we decided very firmly a few years ago that this needed to be one of the places where R3i was based. And as you've heard, as Lisa and Peter mentioned, we're in Singapore, we're in Luxembourg, and soon to be in Texas. So that gives us those 3 legs where we can we can help companies between different continents and gain on a basis of that. So just a few words. I know most of you here will of Europe and of Luxembourg, but even so, I just want to say a few words just in the European context. Obviously, Luxembourg, we're portraying very much and we're pushing very much as being the open door to the EU market. And the EU market is 27 different countries, as you know. It's over 450 million consumers. And you have the majority of those in 19 different countries that all share the same currency as well. And it's based on, it's this concept of Europe, the United Europe, is based on the basis of free mobility of capital, of goods, of services, and of labor. So within that market, you can circulate freely, goods can circulate, services can circulate, and labor can circulate freely. And from Luxembourg, we think we're in, everybody says they're in the heart of Luxembourg, and everybody is in the heart of Luxembourg because it's such a big place. But from Luxembourg, you've got roughly about 60% of European GDP within, say, an hour's transit time. Typically, that's by plane, less so these days. But you can access these markets, these big markets around Luxembourg very, very easy. And you've got totally open, free borders. In Luxembourg, coming to specifically talk for a few minutes about Luxembourg itself, we've got some very, very sound macroeconomic indicators that we monitor very closely. They're all stable. We've got this AAA rating, which hasn't changed at all. All of the rating agencies are maintaining Luxembourg as a AAA rated country. We've maintained that through the COVID period and now the crisis that's following as a result in Eastern Europe. We have also long-term political stability, which I think is very important. As an entrepreneur, as a founder, looking to develop your business and your company, you want to have some sound political and economic conditions around you, and that's really what Luxembourg can provide. We have a very stable government system. It's a government by coalition, which means you're not getting swings from one side, political side, to the other side. It's always around the middle ground, and this gives the ability to generate long-term strategy at a government level. And I was previously working for the Innovation Agency, and Jean-Michel will present a little bit the agency in a moment. But I was working there on policy that I traced back to 15, 20 years previously that was still current and still being adapted and modified for present conditions. But you can see this continuity. So you have this very stable base on which to build. It's also rated as being the third most resilient economy in the world. It's the fourth highest labor productivity in the world, the fifth strongest national brand in the world, which again, if you're working, selling, marketing internationally, you need these conditions. But it's a very small country. It's around 650,000 people. But it's extremely cosmopolitan. I don't know really of another country quite as cosmopolitan as Luxembourg. It's above 180 different nationalities are registered as living and working in Luxembourg. So it's quite incredible. But this means that you can find people that speak the language of your customers as perhaps their first language, if not their first, their second, or maybe their third, before you get on to the fourth, fifth, or sixth languages. So it is a place where you can find people, highly qualified people. We're constantly attracting new people to come to Luxembourg and work here. And it really gives you a very, very cosmopolitan basis on which to develop from. And the government has seen that we need to develop also this strong startup culture in Luxembourg. And more than 10 years ago, about 12, 15 years ago, it started looking and investing quite heavily in this particular aspect. And we've built up now a strong culture, which is still developing, still evolving around startups, and then supporting those startups as they become scale-ups and really go international from Luxembourg. And one of the agencies that's really working very, very hard in this respect is the Innovation Agency, which is an innovation agency and a business development agency on behalf of the Luxembourg government through the Ministry of the Economy. And I think here is the moment to hand over to Jean-Michel, who will take it a little bit further. He's heavily involved in this aspect on behalf of the government. And Jean-Michel, if you can just sort of take us through this aspect of the ecosystem in Luxembourg.
Yes,
over to you.
So thank you for your kind words, and thank you for presenting so well Luxembourg and giving this nice pitch to our international audience today. So good afternoon again. I'm Jean-Michel. I am actually leading the department working for startups and what we call new business development, so attracting startups, tech companies from abroad. Lux Innovation, as we are today quite an international audience, is the National Agency for Innovation and Research in Luxembourg. We are used to say that we are the arm of the Ministry of the Economy for implementing its innovation policy in Luxembourg. We are a group of around 80 experts with various backgrounds, scientific, business backgrounds, and we are operating for any kind of company, whatever the sector. So we work, of course, quite a lot with startups. So Ian was mentioning before that we have quite a good startup ecosystem in Luxembourg, and it's very important for an entrepreneur coming from a neighboring region or even from overseas to get some guidance within the ecosystem to find the right partners, being an incubator, an accelerator, private partner, for really landing softly in Luxembourg, being in the best condition for launching in his business. With regards to support to startup, we, of course, one of our core business is to facilitate access to public funding. In Luxembourg, it's quite easy. We have the Ministry of the Economy providing public grants for companies, including the startups. So if a company has an ambition to develop new technologies, new services, and so on, they can claim for a grant from the Ministry of the Economy and get some funding up to 50%. It's very, very powerful, and our startups appreciate that a lot. We have some other instruments that are more for scaling the business of the companies, for making them able to go internationally. And this kind of instruments called Young Innovative Enterprise can combine a private investment with a public grant. And here we are speaking about quite big money, because it can go up to 800,000 euro, which is not so bad for accelerating the business. We've been running also since now about 7 years an acceleration program, Fit4start. It's a 6-month acceleration program which combine private coaching with access to public grants up to 150,000 euro. And it's the particularity of this program is that we provide a framework for the entrepreneur for being accelerated, but the jury members, the people who select the program, the people who follow the different achievements of the startup over this 6-month period are coming from the private sector, VCs, business angels, and serial entrepreneurs that we know that have proven their competencies here in Luxembourg. So that, as I was saying, we are operating this program since 7 years now. Most of the success story we have now in Luxembourg, companies that are scaling up have passed throughout this program. And even if it's we are used to work and to be sector agnostic, for this program we have chosen to really push forward 3 verticals, one in the digital, quite generic one in the health tech sector, and one in the space sector. So thanks to these initiatives coming from public authorities, but also mainly coming from private investors, corporate investment, and so on, we are starting having an still emerging, but quite interesting startup ecosystem. Our market intelligence team is used to perform twice a year a mapping of this startup ecosystem, and we have now about 600 of innovative startups, less than 10 years old, who are, I would say, ready to take off, or for some of them have already taken off over the past year. But most of these startups are still pre-seed or seed stages. And we are currently working together with the Ministry of the Economy in order to make a kind of assessment of our ecosystem to see where are the gaps that could prevent us from reaching the next stage. And for doing this study, we're also advised by Startup Genome, so very good as well to be in the network of this organization. And we are expecting results end of the summer in order to put in place some new instruments for the future. We have started to promote as well this startup ecosystem abroad because, of course, we have quite a lot of entrepreneurs creating new businesses in Luxembourg. But as I was saying before, we want to attract as well companies from North America, Southeast Asia, Japan, in order to also fill in some gaps from a technological perspective. And for promoting this startup ecosystem, we have created this branding, Startup Luxembourg, also associated with a platform, startupluxembourg.com, which is a kind of entry door as well for people, investors that want to learn more about this ecosystem. We are promoting the ecosystem and the startups abroad during the major tech events. We were last week at VivaTech with a booth with 10 startups, brilliant startups. We are this week in Toronto for Collision, and that's just to name two of the tech events we will attend this year. So we are welcoming all new positive energy investors and so on who wants to learn more about the Luxembourg ecosystem. So feel free to reach out throughout startupluxembourg.com or via LinkedIn. I will share my contact details afterwards. And thanks again, R3i, for putting actually unicorn pitches or Luxembourg on the map for unicorn pitches, the jury and the startups that we pitch today. Good luck for them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jean-Michel, and thanks for taking your time to support our event today. We really appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, now is the time for you all. I'm delighted to welcome all of our founders here from around the world to join us here at Luxembourg Pitch. This event will culminate in a winner that will go off to the European final event. I'm proud to share that Augmentus, one of the companies that landed in our House of DeepTech last quarter, was announced the global winner of the Luxembourg Initiative, later on the UK Initiative, and finally the Global Unicorn Pitch event, and recently went home with millions of dollars in financing as part of his journey. So I hope you too have a similar journey here today. We are joined by founders from Australia, from Singapore, from Luxembourg and beyond. And we are joined from the sectors of cybersecurity, fintech, health tech, biotech, industrial IoT, marketplaces, and diagnostics. So for those investors on the call, hopefully there's something here for all of you. I'd like to invite to the stage Tan Huynh from Detexian, our Australian cybersecurity startup. And I'll hand the screen over to you. Thanks, Tan.
Thanks, Lisa. Hi, everyone. My name is Tan. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Detexian. And we are on a mission to secure the future of work. And we are doing this because in the future, we believe cybersecurity will become the most critical currency that companies in the mid-market will require for business. So I'd like to introduce you to our founding team. So myself, I come from a mid-market private equity background, Stanford MBA. This is my second startup. My co-founder, CTO Adrian, is a seasoned enterprise consultant and cloud security expert. And my other co-founder, Andy, is our chief product officer, a UX expert, and an entrepreneur with 2 successful exits. In modern workplaces, business teams procure and manage their own SaaS applications. Statistically, 77% of apps running in a mid-market business are actually non-IT managed, and they have access to customer and business data. And this gives rise to security blind spots, also cost wastage, a big problem for the mid-market, which we focus on. And our buyer persona in our customers' environments is head of IT. They wear multiple hats and often can't keep up. With Detexian, customers can discover unauthorized apps running in their environment anytime. And they can do this within 2 minutes without any network tab or endpoint agents or any technical setup. And this is completely free and self-serve for anybody. Customers on average discover about 200 apps, as well as duplicate subscriptions on first scan that are not known to the organization. And this can lead to $100,000 to $200,000 worth of savings. Then customers can simply add those SaaS applications they want protection over to our portal for ongoing security posture management. No more mundane manual checking. Our core solutions provide ongoing peace of mind that the apps are secured to best practices at all times. And most importantly, evidence of compliance for those that need it for commercial due diligence. And we just completed our market validation phase with product in market and $250,000 in revenue. And phase 2 for us is democratize shadow IT discovery with our freemium solution, from which customers can upgrade to our core solutions. And we have a two-pronged approach when it comes to go-to-market, both leading with our shadow IT discovery freemium offering. First through customers, and second through their trusted IT and security advisors, who their customers increasingly rely on for advice. And mid-market trusted advisors who work with Detexian have added substantial revenues of their own services on the back of our data. As part of this, we're raising capital to execute the go-to-market plan. Get in touch if you're interested in learning more. Our investor base includes industry veterans as well as institutional VCs. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tan. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll open the floor for some questions. Please don't hesitate to raise your hand. Thanks, Peter.
Yeah, hi, Tan. Great pitch. Can you talk more about traction?
Yeah, so we have a product in market and paying customers in the US, in Australia, New Zealand, and Singapore. We recently launched our freemium IT discovery, which is going to be a game changer for us because we basically democratize the ability of organizations to know what apps are running in their environment. And in terms of revenue, we're at $250,000 today.
Thank you, Tan. Thank you, Peter. And Gajo, I know you've got a question.
Thank you, Lisa, for letting me ask Tan two small questions. The first one would consider your competitive landscape. I mean, can you elaborate more about your direct competition and about your competitive advantage in terms to competitors? And additionally, I see on the website that you have completed acceleration program, SciRise. Can you tell us a bit about that? What kind of help did that brought to the table in terms of mentorship, financial assistance, and of course, product development? Thank you.
I'll answer the second question first. So SciRise was our actually first accelerator back in 2018. Okay. When Detexian was very much at the conceptualization stage of our journey. So SciRise really helped us sharpen our thinking around, what to go to market with and user testing and all that. So it was tremendously helpful at the very start of our journey. When it comes to competition, when it comes to the SaaS, if you call it SaaS management space, there are many ways to go about it. Some companies focus on security, some focus on usage optimization, and the majority of the competition focus on large enterprises. Detexian focuses exclusively on the mid-market. So our way to market is very much about simplicity, bringing simplicity in terms of business risk so that business people can understand security risk, because if they don't understand it, they don't care about it. And that's very much our way to do it. And that is one of the reasons why we democratize shadow IT discovery. We know that some of our competitors monetize shadow IT discovery in a great way. It actually is very variable data. But we do want to make it valuable to and free to all, because we think that everybody deserves to know what is running in their environment so that they can reduce risk and save money.
Thank you very much. And additionally, can you tell us a bit about your acceleration program that you have graduated? And did you get some support in terms of product development when you have commenced your operations, or when you generally have completed that program, and what value did it bring to the table?
Yeah, so I explained earlier, SideRide was very much at the earlier start of our journey.
Understand.
So that to us, it was about, you know, the idealization stage. And, you know, that was tremendously helpful in kind of getting design partners in to test and to help give feedback to our product. We also did another accelerator actually via R3i, and it was tremendous in terms of really colliding with the market and, you know, getting a much more global audience to sort of trial out our product and our go-to-market. So for that, I was really grateful that we had the opportunity to join.
Thank you very much for your thorough answers to my questions, and looking forward to interact.
Thanks, Gajul.
Appreciate it.
Schedule. Thank you, Tan. Much appreciated. And I'm going to hand it over to our other Australian startup joining us here today, Kim Hansen. Kim, where are you based today?
I'm based in Australia.
Yep. Whereabouts?
In the Gold Coast on the east coast of Australia.
Super. Wonderful to have you with us. The floor is yours.
Thank you. So my name is Kim Hansen. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Cake. At Cake, we supercharge global founders, their teams, and investors with frictionless equity. This is my passion. This is why I get out of bed every single day, is to go and do this mission. So the problem is very clear. It's very difficult to understand equity for founders and easy to make mistakes for them. That makes founders scared and feel overwhelmed, when they should be focusing all their energy on their product, on their customers, and building an incredible team. Our solution is a simple to use platform that streamlines equity for founders globally. We've developed a contract engine and an equity standard that works globally. And thus we've reduced the complexity significantly, which saves a lot of time for founders. For example, you can set up a standard ESOP in one click, reducing what normally takes weeks and months to hours. This also means saving a lot of money on the legal and the accounting costs. Now, it's a very simple SaaS subscription model. It's a freemium, so it's free to get started, up to 5 stakeholders. As the startups grow, the number of stakeholders they manage grow, and they pay us more and more. The world has changed, and startups have gone global. We've seen the meteoric rise from remote hiring companies like Oyster, Deal, etc. And Cake is perfectly set up for this trend, because we've built our platform to work globally, especially with the options, and because equity across borders is growing rapidly. Now, the timing for Cake is really good now, because several big market changes have happened. Remote work is now default in many startups, and startups need access to global talent pool, and they expect that. And SaaS solutions as well work globally now, which helps startups be more global. There's also an increased demand from employees around transparency and ownership. And using equity next to salary is a growing trend that will be the default in the future. We won Australia and became the leading cap table provider with 20% market share in 18 months. We've grown our annual recurring revenue 275% in the last 12 months. Our AR is almost at 1 million Australian dollars, and our monthly revenue is also growing even faster with 112,000 in May. Short term, we're building frictionless equity across borders, and long term, we're building a secondaries marketplace. Thank you so much. I'm open to questions.
Thanks so much, Kim. And secondaries markets have just exploded over the last 6 months. So it seems like now is absolutely your time. I'm going to hand it over to Peter Slavnico, who has a question.
Hey, Kim, great pitch. I love what you provide. Can you tell us more, what markets are you focusing on? Obviously, every market has different legislations, and you have to be compliant with SEC or whatever, exchange commissions in every country. So which are your primary target markets?
Absolutely. So we see the 3 key startup hubs or ecosystems as the US, Singapore, and the UK. So we build our equity standard around these 3. We call them the hubs. And then a lot of the countries around that are kind of using their standards. That's how we could build an equity standard from the start. Now, our go-to-market playbook, we've done incredible well with the community-based rollout in Australia, as we've gone for those kind of just funded startups until Series A, Series B. And as we are maturing the product, we are keeping the startups on our platform, so we can start getting more and more mature startups. So it's basically, we are attacking hard Singapore, US, and UK after we've kind of won Australia. In May month, we had 25% of our MRR from international, yeah, I think 11-12% of the amount of customers coming from there.
Awesome. If I may have additional, do you have any collaboration with companies that provide different kinds of services? Let's say, you know, with a Sleek, for example, or what have you?
Yeah. We have a lot of partnerships.
Okay.
Yes, we have around 200 partnerships. So Cake is a software platform. And then when you need kind of local compliance part, we've built the platform to be able to support local compliance part, but the actual advice is given by our local partners. So we have partners in the US, in UK, and in Singapore that helps with this, both accounting and legal firms. So they are operational partners. We also have a lot of referral partners, we call them, which is the VCs and accelerators in Australia. That's Blackbird and R3i and StartMate and all of these companies. So we get their portfolio companies and we on their tech stack for startups, the default.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Kim. And just out of interest, are you providing investor reporting tools on the back end?
Yes, so you can download, the platform actually has two apps. There is the app for the founder, and there's an app for the investor or employee, so they can track their portfolio. So all documents can be shared between the founders and employees, and there's an announcement tool and these type of things. And then you can download reports, like every year you have to give your financials to your accountant to take care of the equity changes that you have to report locally.
Super. Anastasia, we're just running short on time. Do you mind if we hold your question to the chat and you ask him directly? Thank you so much. Much appreciated. All right. Thank you, Kim. Thank you also to Peter for your questions. We're now going to move on with the agenda for today. Just one moment. I'd now like to call to the stage Arianna of VoiceMed. For all of those healthcare investors, take note of this one. Over to you, Arianna.
Hello, everyone. My name is Arienzo. I'm the CEO of VoiceMed, so I will bring you to the world of healthcare. In VoiceMed, we monitor respiratory health using voice. And why do we do that? Well, it's important to understand how much voice is the new dimension of data. Every second, we are producing terabytes and terabytes of voice. And voice is not only quantity, it's also quality. Indeed, it is the main interaction between the human body organs like the brain, the heart, and lungs. And that is why at VoiceMed, we monitor respiratory health using voice. And particularly, we are addressing 30 million of people in the European Union that suffer from asthma. And the interesting thing about this target is that actually 2/3 of the deaths coming from an asthma attack could be preventable. Can you imagine for a second how many lives we could save with a better self-management tool? Well, thanks to VoiceMed, we are offering solutions that actually address and solve this problem with a self-management companion app for patients that enables them to really self-manage their disease in a convenient way. Because, you know, having a chronic disease is very tough for the management. And unlike other competitors that actually focus on additional hardwares that this target group is not carrying around all the time, or other apps like Calm that do not really address the specific need of people with asthma, our solution has a unique selling point. So first, on the engagement, so it has actually personalized breathing exercises and program on which we take the breathing samples. And then the app is connected with the API to our machine learning algorithm that analyzes the breathing recording and actually measures their asthma like what a spirometry would do in person, but it's available on the phone on a fingerprint. So the benefits are multiple. The most important ones are first for the patient. it actually improves the quality of life. It reduces their symptoms thanks to the engaging breathing exercises. Second, always for the patient, it actually decrease the use of one of medication that they use, that is the reliever, which has a lot of side effects and is one of the main reasons why they actually don't manage their disease. And third, it actually decreases the healthcare scheduled visits and the cost of hospitalization. So our business model is very simple. We directly target the patient with a B2C app that has a freemium model, and then a payment system for the premium features. And the app is going to get reimbursed from the UK market, which is a first entry market in the next years. And we have many traction, including our partner hospitals that supported us for the data collection. We have 1 patent pending and 1 certification pending as a medical device software. And we also achieved many achievements, including last week in Viva Technology, we won the pitch competition. And this is mainly thanks to our team. We have more than 10 years of experience in life science, in product, in machine learning and sound analysis, as well as business, of course. And we are actually looking for a new round. We just opened last week. The round is composed by 1 million private funding and 1 million grants. For the grants part, we are already covering because we are making many applications, including EAC and different Luxembourg applications. And this investment will take us closer and closer to our vision, a vision where we can empower everyone, wherever this person is, to be able to know his well-being. So thank you, and I'm waiting for your questions.
Thank you so much, Arianna. Fantastic timing, given the state of the world at this moment. Any MedTech questions from the floor? I've got one hand raised from Peter. Peter, over to you.
Yeah, I'll ask and then I'll shut up. A great pitch. I'm just curious, completely not related to exactly what you were talking about, but is your patent for the voice biomarkers?
Yes, so thank you, Peter, for your questions. Yes, the patent is on the technology itself that analyzes the voice. Particularly when we talk about voice, we include 3 different signals. One is breathing, one is coughing, and one is speech, what we normally call voice. And the patent covers one part of it, and particularly the way that we analyze this recording. We do have a lot of ideas about how to increase the patents, but we also feel that our strength it will never be on the patent itself, but rather on the data and on the data set. Because as a software solution, we never feel like completely covered within a kind of a pure deep tech approach that invests a lot in patent. Having said so, we did register one because we felt that that one was good enough to start. And we also have a patent on the design that we are thinking, because the real value of our company is on the way that we collect data, on the quality and on the quantity of data that actually improves the accuracy of our machine learning algorithm in order to be close to a medical test like a spirometry, but available everywhere on your pocket.
Okay, I was just asking, I mean, you know, not a medical purpose, but there may be a secondary stream of income for you. If you have a biomarkers for a voice, could be a voice authentication, maybe in the longer term. That's why I was curious, how specific is your patent? And thank you so much.
Thank you for your question.
Thanks, Peter. And one quick one, Gadro.
Thank you, Lisa. As a long-term asthma sufferer, I know how it is important for people to have anything new that can help them to analyze their current condition. And of course, it's really tough for people who doesn't know, is it asthma or is it overlap between the asthma and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, to intervene timely before the asthma attack. I don't have asthma attacks, but I have a little bit shortness of breath. And sometimes, you know, when you go to the doctors, they just give you to do the test on spirometry or peak flow test. Comparing with that, how reliable is your tool currently? Do you need to improve your tool in order to overcome all these obsolete standards that are still considered in some countries and many hospitals as a diagnostic standard? And of course, people who don't have a proper diagnosis of their condition, can your tool help them with that? Feel free, Arianna, to elaborate in a way you think it's the most suitable. Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you so much, because you really brought the perspective of a person. So indeed, you are right. You made a very interesting point. So the main point that you made is on the person itself. So what we are actually doing is, first of all, help the people to feel better. And we do that through breathing exercises that we validated that improve symptoms of people with asthma, these specifically programs that we created. So first of all, it's not only about attacks, it's about life. A chronic condition is every day, every minute, every second. Of course, I'm not adherent. I mean, it's like, it's very boring. And in our team, half of the team has asthma. So we are quite, this problem is quite huge. And second, you mentioned about the different, current diagnosis. So this is like, this is exactly where we want to go. Currently, our product gives feedback on the breathing recording. Is more like a breathing score, we call it. And now within this round, we are starting a new trial in order to compare within the spirometry. So we cannot give you an answer like exactly right now about how would they compare. Definitely, what's important in any digital health app is right quantity of data. And this data can never be taken from only the trial, because we tried within our past project on COVID-19, and just the data were not enough quantity for a good deep learning model. So we decided, okay, let's launch an app that gives a breathing score, helps them just not to diagnosis, just monitoring. So to help them do more activities. For example, I want to go out, I won't go running. I want to train back for a marathon. Let's put more ambitious goal, because when you enter in the app, you can select your goal. And then I have shortness of breath. Is it normal? Is it normal in my area? Is it normal for me? Am I improving or not? And this is the start of the product. Simple product that monitors you, that helps you to feel better, that understands you within real product. And then the second step is like the digital spirometry. Once the product is on the market, is used, we collect sufficient data from the real world, which is different than the clinical lab, and we complement this with of course, with a clinical trial, so that we can then compare how much then, and evaluate this from a general monitoring tool to a diagnostic tool, which also has higher claims in terms of medical device. So we use this modular approach. I hope I answered all your questions, because
absolutely, I think this is pretty disruptive future that you're going to bring to the table for all lung diseases and the ones that consider bronchial asthma. Especially this is the market that has around 300 million people that are registered, and plus 2 times at least for the ones who are in a denial or don't have a clue that they are asthma sufferers. So really great thing, and I'm looking to interact. Thank you very much.
You also mentioned just quickly.
Sorry, Arianna, no, quickly.
Okay, later on.
Thank you very much.
You.
We'll continue in chat.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, I would like to now bring our next founder to the stage. Myelin H, one of our biotech founders, is joining us today, and Ziad Tayeb is going to take the stage. Thank you, Ziad, over to you. Thanks, Arianna, for a great pitch.
Hello, do you hear me?
Perfectly, thanks, Ziad.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Thanks for having me. My name is Ziad, and I'm here today to present Myelin H, whose mission is basically digitizing healthcare, the right treatment for the right patient at the right time and under the right circumstances. So it all started for me after my mother was late stage diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, very tough brain disease. And on that basis, I decided to take a complete U-turn on my standpoint. Instead of just going after a normal engineering career, I decided to start a PhD in the area of brain-computer interfaces, with a big hope that I will help my mother regain mobility, or at least better manage her disease. But then thereafter, I started Myelin H, and it's exactly the same mission, trying to help my mother better manage her disease. In fact, sadly and regrettably, my mother took 3 wrong treatments. They were inadequate to her situation. She was secondary MS, but the treatment was prescribed for primary MS. And on that basis, that she is fully disabled and unable to walk anymore. So we started the company in Luxembourg in 2021. We received the Fit4start grant, which is kind of the innovation grant by the Ministry of the Economy. We are now located in 3 different places in Manchester, where I'm also an assistant professor, by the way, in the same area, trying to push this not just from an academic standpoint, but not just from a commercial standpoint, but also from an academic perspective. The company, I mean, we are profitable within the first year of operation. We've got 3 different customers: the University Hospital of Leipzig in Germany, one of the largest in the country, Sapienza in Rome, and another university hospital in Europe. So very briefly on the technology itself. So it's a combination, it's primarily a software company where we combine a wearable EEG, EMG, ECG sensor. It takes less than a minute compared to 1.5 hours of, kind of normal EEG standard process. You play a couple of cognitive games, which we have developed and designed. And based on those games, we assess cognitive capability inside the brain in each different regions. And then from that, we translate those medical data into a powerful PDF report instantaneously for doctors anywhere, anytime, regardless of the patient location. We don't like to use machine learning because our technology is a bit ahead of the curve compared to that, whose name is neuromorphic computing. But at the end of the day, it's biologically inspired machine learning to interpret EEG, EMG, and different biosignals. In terms of the founding team, myself, I hold a PhD in the area from the Technical University of Munich, was a visiting researcher at Johns Hopkins and the National University of Singapore. I'm now an assistant professor of brain computer interfaces in Manchester. My co-founder chose 2 master's degrees, one in applied mathematics and second one in space, and I will come to that space connection in a minute. Our third co-founder, he has got 20 years of experience in finance under his belt. We've got a couple of other advisors and doctors surrounding us, but also a couple of other partners like Stanford Medicine, Langone Medical Center, which is one of the largest in New York City. In terms of the products, we've out of the same technology, which is the result of 4.5 years of research and development. We have 3 different products. The first one is what we like to call Swiss Army knife. It could be integrated into any clinical trials as long as EEG, EMG are involved. And the idea is to accelerate the clinical trials when developing new drugs for neurodegenerative diseases, specifically MS, Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease. The second one, which is specifically, and by the way, the first product is where we are getting some financial traction, profits and revenues. The second one, which is not yet on the market, is designed for MS. And the third one is for space, where we're trying to monitor astronauts in orbit using our BCI technology. And this has received a NASA iTech media coverage and award. And very, very last thing is we are already profitable. We have 150K of turnover from the first product, and we project 250 next year and 2 million, which is kind of our grand vision in 2026. This is me, and I'm done speaking. Thanks for having me, and I'm very much looking forward to your questions.
Thank you. Really appreciate your presentation today, Ziad. We at R3i are deeply passionate about the area of neurocognitive disease, and many of the players on this call today share our ambition. So I'm going to open it up to questions. Any questions from the floor today? And Peter, I know you have questions for this one.
Just curious more about competition and what is the alternative to you? Why would I choose you as opposed to the alternative?
Okay, very good question. So in terms of competition, there are a couple of competitors in the United States. So primarily located in the United States. They are precisely doing EEG. I think the way how we stand out from the crowd is, first of all, we have developed this proprietary technology of probabilistic neuromorphic computing, processing multiple data. And the second thing is most of those companies, they either focus on the hardware side or only on EEG. We've developed our own games, and based on those games, we have shown in papers, but also through clinical studies, that we are able to pick up specific biomarkers in the brain linked to treatment, assessing treatment effectiveness and monitoring disease progression specifically for MS. And the third thing, which I think is the most important one from a business standpoint, is hardware agnostic. So even though we have got a partner where they kind of provide this easy to wear EEG 1 minute dry electrodes, the software is kind of hardware agnostic, could be integrated with any EEG, EMG wearable sensor. So those are the three different main differentiators.
Brilliant, thank you. Gadru, over to you.
Thank you, Lisa, for giving me the opportunity to ask Ziad more about his startup. A really great presentation. My question concerns more about your go-to-market strategy. And as I have seen that you have already established connection with 3 hospitals in Europe, what is your strategy to expand, and how you're planning to have a wider audience and sign the contracts with other hospitals in Europe or any part of the world?
Yeah, so very good one as well. So the strategy is based on those 3 different products. So the first product, where we don't need any certification, it's rather for medical research, for biopharma companies, university hospitals. We have those 3 different customers in 3 different locations in Europe, and we are getting more interest. By the way, we have 2 letters of interest from Langone Medical Center in New York, so in the United States, where also this is one market we are trying to get into, and then another one also in Asia. So that means that's kind of has grown organically in a way that we are not doing a lot of marketing, but through research papers and my connections and the founders' connections, being able to get the technology out and become visible. Now, the second product, where it's kind of a long journey to certify this specifically for MS, we have to go through the CE mark and FDA clearance, 510K as a monitoring solution, and that's where we need investment. And then, by the way, we are raising fund. We're raising money right now. We have some committed investments, and we are looking to close this rather soon. So this is kind of the second product where we genuinely believe this is going to be on the market in 2024. And the third product, we have some connections with NASA, the International Space Station. We're talking to them. Hopefully, we can test this in Australia in a microgravity environment, where we'll be able to leverage and show the potential of such technology, not just here on planet Earth, but also in outer space.
Thank you very much for your thorough answer. I received more than I expected. Good luck.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much. And thank you, Jean-Michel, as well, for your time today. I appreciate that you've got another meeting. Much appreciated. All right. Thank you, Zayed. I'm going to hand over now to Matthew. Matthew joins us today from MachineryScanner and is focused on industrial IoT. Matthew, over to you.
Yes.
Just going to give you the floor. Just give me 1 second to give you the pin and we can get started.
All right. So do you see my screen? It's all good?
Yep, sure do.
All right. So hello, everybody. My name is Matthew Gress. I'm the co-founder of MachineryScanner, the one-stop solution to find and buy machinery in a safer and faster way. So, we are 2 co-founders, both insider from the machinery industry. We used to work in the Luxembourgish office of the American group St. Hills Publishing. While working there, actually, we noticed a gap in the market, a lack of trust and transparency between dealers and buyers. Often we receive phone calls from customers who found similar machines coming from 2 different dealers, and they ask us which one they should buy from. We couldn't say go to this one or this one because it's one of our customers. To respond to this need, what we created existed before already in the hotel and restaurant industry. We built the first third-party review system dedicated to machinery dealers. On the side, we noticed, like in many sectors, there is an increase of fraud and scammer online. To fight against it, we launched MachineryScanner certification program to make sure there is a real company behind the website and the logo. Those 2 first services was made to create more trust and transparency, but also to help dealers take control of their company image and online notoriety with their customer satisfaction and our innovative sharing tools. On the side, we noticed there was no real aggregator system for machines in Europe. So we built MachineryScanner vertical search engine. Today, we have 7 partners who are listing portal that send us more than 55,000 listing total in our system. Finally, we noticed, the last services that we launched, we are ready to launch. It's an inventory management tool The domain is live already. It's called yourstockonline.com, but we are still in the beta version. This system will allow dealer to enter the inventory once, and then we can share it in just one click to any portal they want. MachineryScanner is today the largest vertical search engine in Europe and the only review system. Moreover, on MachineryScanner.com, we have the biggest database for machinery. We have all European companies working in those industry, construction equipment, truck and trailer, farm equipment, handling equipment, and so on, register in our system. At the end, all you need, right, is a computer or smartphone to find the right machine on a single platform, rather than spending hours going through different portals. Once you found the right machine with MachineryScanner services, what you can do, you can check the company behind, read reviews, look for the certification badge, ask for third-party inspection, and organize the whole shipment of the machine from the dealer park to your location, all this from a single platform. MachineryScanner is a disruptive company bringing innovative tool, and we plan to radically change the whole industry, which is actually one of the main in the world. You just need to look around you. There are machinery everywhere, especially in Luxembourg. Right now, you can see building sites everywhere. Without construction machine, there wouldn't be any new building or any new roads. Without food, without truck, there wouldn't be any food in the supermarket or fuel at the gas station. And finally, without tractor, you don't have any production or any cereals. MachineryScanner is not just a project or a marketplace. It is a real game changer in a niche industry with a global impact and limitless opportunities. Today, we are looking for investment in order to scale up with skilled business people to join us on board of this huge machine called MachineryScanner. Our system is ready, and now we have the right tool to revolutionize the sector, and you better believe it. So please let me know if you have any interest or question.
Excellent. Thank you, Matthew. Thanks for your enthusiasm. What a great sector to be in right now. I'm going to ask you a question. How does the challenge of autonomous heavy vehicles come into play in your system?
Sorry, could you repeat?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
There's this huge transition to autonomous heavy vehicles in the agri-tech and the construction industry. How does that affect or impact your business?
Actually, so we are the marketplace, right? We work with dealers and final customer. We don't work with all those automatic systems to manage with the machine in the technological part.
But can you sell autonomous vehicles on your platform? Is there a legal or regulatory issue around that?
We could implement it and integrate it into our system, but so far this is not something we plan on doing, because we want to focus on what we know. As we are insider from this, you know, we have the relationship with dealers and buyers on the market. We know what was missing actually in this industry, and we try to make it and to keep it short and easy with the best services that fit the needs.
Got it. Super. Over to our audience of judges. All right, looks like there's no questions. Thank you so much, Matthew, for your time and presentation today. Everyone, you know.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Great presentation, Matthew.
Thank you.
I'm very interested in learning more about this. Do you also do CNC machinery, manufacturing, CapEx? Is it full spectrum machinery, like all things machinery?
Actually, so far we started with those main industry, right? Everything about construction, truck and farm equipment handling, but we are open to add more about industrial equipment, like big machinery for factory. This is something we think about. And as I said, we have right now 7 partners who bring us 55,000 listings in those industries. But I had a call last week with the auction company from the US specialized for industrial equipment, and he will join us very soon. So we will very soon have industrial equipment on MachineryScanner as well.
Very good.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, Alvin. Just one last question, Matthew. Where are you headquartered?
So we have headquarters in Luxembourg for like 6 months. We started everything new, I would say. In the past, if I can mention, we were registered in Malta because we couldn't do it in Luxembourg. But to create more trust and transparency with the customer as well as with the potential investor, we decided to move closer and to register here in Luxembourg.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. And without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Rachel at Meracle. Thank you for joining us, Rachel. And thank you, Matthew, again for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa, for having me here today.
Just give me 1 second, Rachel, and
Sure.
I will get the spotlight. There we go. Over to you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Rachel, and I'm the founder of Meracle, where we're harnessing digital technology to optimize respiratory therapy. So more than 600 million people have chronic respiratory disease, and 7 in 10 don't get better. And this is no surprise when only 10% of their drugs ever reaches their lungs. And so we introduced the Whiz. It is a device that guides patients visually in real time, ensuring that medication is delivered deep into the lungs. So it's similar to a speedometer in cars, where they will intuitively know when they are inhaling at the optimal rate and when they're not, thus allowing them to adjust accordingly. All this data is collected and can be shared with doctors through a chart that allows them to view progress and adjust treatment. And for patients and their caregivers, it simplifies medication routines with a gamification tool to keep them engaged. So this is a solution that benefits all the stakeholders by reducing the risk of exacerbation, the cost of healthcare, as well as improving patient engagement and optimizing healthcare resources. We have key opinion leaders in Europe, Asia, and Australia, all confirming that this dual-pronged approach is critical, and they also welcome that the data as a part of their decision-making toolkit. The Whiz has been used and tested in hospitals and home environments, showing improved conditions and reduced symptoms in just 3 months. We have clinical trial partnerships with the National University Hospital in Singapore, Taipei Medical University, and a multi-centered trial in Europe led by the Luxembourg Institute of Health. So how is the Whiz better? It is the only solution that addresses technique and compliance at the same time. It is also brand and inhaler agnostic, thus allowing the flexibility for doctors to prescribe any inhaler medication to be used with it. Smart inhalers, they help to monitor compliance, but tracking is a non sequitur if medication is not delivered correctly in the first place. And regular spacers do not offer any feedback, with minimal innovation for the past 20 years. Our primary target segment are the children and the elderly with chronic conditions such as asthma and COPD, as they are the most prone to errors and non-compliance. Globally, this is a 40 billion euro market. So our go-to-market strategy is to engage hospitals and medical device distributors who have local knowledge and connections, as well as insurers and pharmaceutical companies and telehealth platforms to help bundle the Whiz with inhaled medications, thus complementing their current solution offerings. We have a strong team with deep experience and expertise in the MedTech sector, especially in the respiratory space. So we are seeking to raise our seed round, having already secured non-dilutive grants from the Luxembourg and Singapore government. So join us as we help 600 million people breathe easy. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Excellent presentation. I'm going to open it up to our floor. There we go. I've got a couple of questions from the floor. I'm going to hand over to you, Ian.
Yeah, hi, Rachel. Many thanks.
Hi,
Great presentation. Could you talk a little bit about, you mentioned about the burgers, Singapore and Luxembourg.
Yes.
Could you perhaps mention other markets that you're actively looking to penetrate that are not necessarily in Europe or Southeast Asia?
Yes, we are also exploring other Asian countries like Japan. We are actually on track to get regulatory approval from Japan and Singapore by the 3rd quarter of this year. So we are addressing not just a Southeast Asian market, but as well as Asian, and to also focus in Europe because I think the prevalence of asthma is actually quite high. Yeah.
Great, thank you very much.
I think, Lisa, you're on mute, so I didn't hear you if you say go ahead.
Yes, go ahead, Peter. Thank you.
All right, just making sure. Hey, Rachel.
Hi, Peter.
Can you tell me more about your traction with potentially pharma in a situation where you could potentially have your device be added to, the prescriptions and
Yes.
be maybe distributed through either pharmacies or hospitals?
Yes. As you can see, our device is attached to an inhaler, and that is being, prescribed by doctors for asthma patients and COPD patients. So we have companies like AstraZeneca, for example, who is one of the major distributors for inhalers, who are keen into working with us. And I think we are working together with them for a sort of like a proof of concept in Japan to help deliver this more towards the elderly population in Japan. So that's one avenue that we are working with pharmaceutical companies. We also would work with like telehealth platforms where they would want to monitor their patients more effectively. And so, we understand the importance of not only diagnostic, but also the therapeutic aspects and the behavior of the patient. So all these would lead into helping the doctors better assess outcomes. Yeah.
You have any traction or interest from insurance companies?
Insurance right now, no. I think we are getting more traction from the traditional like pharmaceutical companies, the hospitals, and the non-traditional is more of the telehealth companies, because I think there's a lot of synergy in helping each other provide better like service to patients. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. My chain of thought was, as you said earlier, the efficiency of the puffers without this type of tool is low, and therefore there's more prescriptions which insurance companies have to cover.
Yes.
So there's certainly savings on their part, and there should be some interest into look into that.
Yes,
thank
definitely.
you. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Peter. I'm going to have one last question. Stefan, over to you.
Yes, absolutely. Just wanted to know more about the WIS device. So from the perspective of the intellectual property, and also, let's say, the production, how complicated is it? Pricing also potentially. And just a quick comment, honestly, with the other startup we heard about, VoiceMed, you would be honestly together the champion of the world.
Oh, yes, definitely. We have spoken about this before, so we do see ourselves working together in the future. So definitely good to have friends around. But in terms of IP, yes, we have a patent that covers the hardware as well as the software aspect of the technology. So manufacturing wise, I would say it's not complicated, but because I am the CTO, so but we do have partners that we are working with that manufactures the product in Singapore at the moment. So I guess there's a complexity in terms of having different various components that we need to work with, but we do have the supply chain and the manufacturing partners all set. So yeah. That's why I'm saying that it's quite easy. Yeah.
Thanks a lot for the explanations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stefan. Thank you, Rachel. Excellent.
Thanks, Lisa. Thanks, everyone.
Great opportunity to have some women power here today. This presentation is going to be shared with Women VC, European Women in VC, She VC, and our Global Transact Network, which is hundreds and hundreds of female GPs across the world, all who are investing in women. So thank you very much for taking the time today, Rachel. And I'm going to bring across our next contender, Nash from fintechX. Nash, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Lisa.
Just give me 2 seconds, Nash, and I'm going to remove a few spotlights and give you the floor. Bear with me one moment. There we go. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lisa. So my name is Nida. It's not Nash. Nash fintechX is the name of my company. We are a software solutions provider based in Luxembourg. And our first software is DecarbonX, which basically represents our effort in the fight against the climate crisis. DecarbonX helps to record carbon credits on the blockchain platform. It provides a carbon market for real-time trading of carbon credits. At the same time, it provides a transparent accounting and reporting mechanism. It prevents greenwashing, certificate duplication, and fraud in the climate market. And in parallel, we also provide an analytics dashboard. Now, if you look at the path to carbon neutrality, you see that it is dominated by major two activities. First is the reduction in carbon emissions that we have to deal with to attain carbon neutrality by 2050. And the other is the increase in the green activities to help contribute positively to the environment. And both these activities can be accounted for by using a DCarbonX. Our total addressable market as of 2022 is $8 billion. By 2030, it would be $70 billion. And by 2050, it is expected to rise to $112 billion. We would take 3% fee per transaction. If we are able to capture 4% of the market, our revenue by 2027 would be 33 million. And if we are able to capture 7 to 8% of the market, our revenue by 2030 would be approximately 138 million. Now, if we see the amount of transactions that we would need to handle by 2030, they would come to 1.2 million transactions. And we also would need to integrate our solution with the green bond issuance cycle. This would help us reach our target revenue. We would be reaching out to NDCs, which are backed by government projects, the voluntary carbon market comprising of corporates and SMEs, and green bonds, which had a market of approximately 500 billion in 2021. Our competition is basically First Carbon based on Ethereum blockchain platform, Climate Impact X, which is not using any blockchain platform, Flow Carbon, which again is using Ethereum, and Safe Planet, which is basically developing their own blockchain platform. Now, we developed our solution on Solana, which functions better when compared to Ethereum in relation to its affinity with the environment. So Ethereum is not energy efficient, whereas Solana is. Our team comprises of computer scientists, engineers, and finance professionals, which are working hard to develop DCarbonX to provide carbon neutrality to Earth, to ensure a safe future for our coming generations, so that no child has to sit in a drought-ridden area, be deprived of water, and put up with unbearable heat. And I hope all of you will participate in this journey with us. Thank you for your patience, and I look forward to the questions.
Thank you, Nida, and I share your ambitions. We have our own commitment to mobilize 1 billion for gender smart climate finance over the next 10 years. So you're certainly talking to the right audiences here today. Over to our judges for your questions. No questions. I would like to add one last question. Nida, I was in ESG integration since 2009, and I have seen only 20% of the world's capital moved in the spirit of ESG. What makes you think that now is finally the time? Forgive my skepticism.
I think, Lisa, we are seeing the effects of climate change all around us. It's no longer a hidden story that people talk about in the media. We are witnessing it right in front of our eyes. We are feeling it living here in Luxembourg itself. So this will help people to move more funds into this space, because we are in a race against time. And if we don't act now, then we will lose out the opportunity to provide a comfortable living environment for our future generations.
Great. As an Australian who watched our country throw carrots out the aeroplanes to feed the animals and watch our country burn, we were those children in your photograph. So I share your passion and ambition. Here's hoping that we can mobilize that climate finance. Thank you for your presentation today, Nida. We are now going to hand over to our next presentation of the day, and bear with me just one moment. Excellent. Mikhail from Roommate, I'm going to hand the floor over to you.
So, guys, hello. I'm actually Matthias, CEO and founder of Roommate, but it's the same. Today we speak about real estate and especially about property management. Property management are like basically all of you, all of the jury here, like investors. And so as all investors, they want one thing: maximize their return on their investment. This is today we try to show how we are able to do it, and to do so we walk you through in a typical day of our property manager, which is here it is. Chasing tenants via phone calls, emails, telegram, anything. Rent collection is a mess because it's not automated. So our property manager does not know who did pay the rent and who did not. Same for the vacancies, the maintenance requests, and all the paperwork. Well, the reality is that our property manager does not know the performance of their portfolio, let alone the best ways on how to grow it. Well, this is now the past, thanks to Roommate, our rental management platform, thanks to which our property manager can automate payment collection, automate the advertising on listing portals, as well as centralize maintenance, communication, documents management, as well as e-signature. So our property managers will pay either $4.99 per unit per month, with the pricing scaling as they grow, or just 1% of the collected rent, treating Roommate, our product, as a variable cost. However, Roommate is not the only part in this equation, because when we speak about property management, we also have tenants. Well, this is why we also decided to add Roommate Places, our tenant-facing application. And thanks to Roommate Places, our tenants can pay the rent, e-sign this agreement, manage all the documents, as well as submit maintenance tickets. Well, we saw both Estelle and Places, and those are just two parts of the data ecosystem that we are creating. Because you see here, we gather data from the property managers, from the tenants, as well as from our partners. And thanks to this, we are able to deliver relevant information like the correlation between rent and location, which in property and rental management, in this case, is fundamental. And well, what we do is basically we turn data into profit, because thanks to Estelle, you can, and through Estelle in general, you can create a cash flow forecast. You can forget about the tenant review, thanks to our credit score, and basically grow faster than your competition. We have been able to generate 20,000 euro in MRR, but the most important thing is that the churn rate is 0%, because property manager love us. This is the competition, is very fragmented, and the market is very, very localized with no established market leader yet. This is why we need to be fast, and we are also here to acquire market share before others do. To do this, we are raising our seed round by autumn 2022 to achieve 1.4 million in ARR by the end of 2023. This is our team. We were 4, and today we are 12. We expect to double again in 1 year. And our mission is to fully automate property management by 2030. So I hope you will be part of it. Thank you very much. Now I'm welcoming all your questions.
Thank you, Mattia. A great market for a great country of real estate.
Exactly, you know it.
In the right place. Opening it up to the floor for questions. I have a question for you, Mattia. When it comes to commercial real estate partners, have you forged any alliances in the industry, and what's your global ambition?
Well, thank you very much, Lisa. This is a very good question and something I didn't have time to cover in the presentation. Actually, our product is focused on residential real estate. It's vertically focused on that, especially mid to long-term rental. So we strategically decided to not focus on tourism because the market is very crowded already, whereas as you also saw from the competition slide, the mid to long-term residential market is it still has a lot of untapped opportunities. So we are also target commercial, but it's for sure not our focus. Rather, we do residential. To your point, actually.
Yeah, super. And do you have any partnerships that you've tied up with residential real estate agencies who might do rentals on behalf of?
Yeah, those are our clients, actually. Those are basically rental and property managers are actually our clients. We just work B2B. Our biggest customer today, I think, is in Aachen, Germany. They have 5,000 units under management. To give you like a sense of the scope of the people that we can work with. Yeah.
Fantastic. And Peter, over to you for your question.
I think you're muted, Peter.
Yes, I was. Sorry. Hey, can you talk a little bit more about your competition? This is kind of crowded market, and why would I want to go with you as opposed to somebody else? What is the major differentiation that you provide?
Well, major differentiation is product superiority, meaning that we have more features. And now I'm also telling you which ones. And we are able then to unlock a greater scope of automation. What I always say is management is a cost. Property management especially is a cost. So in order for us to help our property managers to add value, we have to help them in saving time. We have some features, for example, the channel manager, which is a feature automating the publication and the updates of all the listings on the new listing portals that we have been integrating. That is unprecedented. No one has it, for example, in Europe. Okay, and just thanks to this, we have then we can also have maybe another conversation deep diving into that. But we have use cases of clients that have changed the scope of the work of their employees from just doing management to actually portfolio growth. And this is also our mission.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And one last question for you, Stefan.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, Mattia, how you envisage your international expansion and how do you deal with the different rules, let's say legal, compliance, etc., topics in all the different countries where then those properties are?
Super interesting question, Stefan. Thank you very much for that. So actually, this is also part of our differentiation from the competition. When I was saying that the competitors are very localized, we provide a platform, and we saw today we are based in Europe. Then I also answered the first part of the question. And basically, property and rental management is horizontal. So I pay the rent in the same way, or I do the things in the same way in Spain, in Italy, Luxembourg, in Germany, in France, in Belgium, wherever. So this is why we don't see barriers in terms of legislation, okay? Because we don't enter in those specifics as we are a management platform. And today our main market is Europe. Because there's a lot of untapped potential here. US, for example, is way more advanced. So there are still some niche markets that we can tackle. For example, student housing and co-living, which are booming all over the world, but also especially in the US. So we do not project to enter in the US in this year or next year, because there's plenty of market for us still in Europe. But for sure, when we will enter that, we will focus on a niche market that we know that we will go to tackle.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stefan.
All right, I'm going to call Sam from Happy Local to the stage. Sam, the stage is yours.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm glad to meet you virtually. I will go to share my screen now. All right. Can you please confirm if you see the pitch
Yes,
deck?
we sure do. Yep.
Okay.
You're just not in presentation mode. Maybe just hide on the right. You've got a little arrow. Maybe just push that to one side so we can see your full screen.
This one?
Yeah.
So my name is Sam. I'm founder of Happy Local, and I'm presenting Happy Local from Luxembourg. We have a big problem actually here, and that's the current supply chain in the market, which is very unfair for the local producers in different areas, because we import products from long distance while destroying the jobs of the local producers. And it's difficult also, on the other hand, to maintain an online shop, and for small producers who, for example, farmers or people who create clothes or things like that, it's difficult to maintain an online shop, and it's expensive. And on the other hand, we have food fraud that is increasing based on the statistics, based on the reports of EIT. 85% has been increased during the past years. And the last problem, and the biggest problem actually, is the environmental footprint, or let's say disasters. Why I say that? Because 1/3 of the whole global production is wasted every year. And 40% of that is during post-harvest, before consumers purchase that products. During retail, transportation, and these transportations creates a lot of emission while it's not necessary, and these products are available in the local market. And this also requires a lot of energy consumption, like fossil fuel, which is not renewable. And Also, this needs a lot of packaging because we transport these products and it gets wasted during this transport, and it's also the packaging pollution. On the other hand, in Luxembourg, we have 5 tons of food every year thrown away, which 90% could be avoided by the reports of the minister.
Sam,
And
just
also,
quickly, your screen is not changing. So if you're turning your slides, we don't see the
not
turn.
changing.
Yes.
So that's not good then, because I'm changing the screen to next page and next page. How about now?
Much better. Thank you so much.
So do you see the problem page now?
Yes, you sure do.
Okay, so I go again. So this problem page, unfair market competition and high cost of maintaining an online shop, and food fraud, as I mentioned, and environmental footprint. And then the biggest problem, which is the 1/3 of the global production is based post-harvest before being purchased by the consumers, and 14% could be avoided by implementing farm to fork strategy, which is like local strategy, instead of like wasting this food during the transportation and retail. And emission and the energy consumption of this transportation on the other hand, and then packaging. And then I came to local food and sustainability as my solution to this main problem. It's a new economical model. Actually, I'm introducing, or maybe I'm calling it back, because it used to be like this in the past. We had more local products, and we're giving eco-friendly online marketplace to local producers to sell their products online, and it's a free market. They can list their products there. We give digital marketing, free delivery service, eco-friendly, recently net zero by like electric cars, and or local product transparency, because when it's local, you can know how it has been grown by who and what kind of sources has been used for this. And we keep the cash flow within local economy. We create the job. We protect the farming lands and the economy in the local economy. And our platform is plastic free and zero waste. So we practice zero waste at every stage of our activities. And our business model, of course, everything is free to list your products, but then once you sold the product, you get 25% commission on the sale of you. So you can, if it's 10 euros, you can set it to €12.50, and €2.50 we get from that. And also the deliveries are distance-based from the producers to consumers. It's totally on demand. We don't have at the moment any logistics center. And our marketing strategy is search engine optimization, Google search and ads as well. Social networks is our main marketing strategy, which we have 5,000 followers. We have different campaigns of sustainability, raise awareness about plastic pollution, about food waste, about organic consumption, and flyers, events. We are active in the market. We are organizing some events. We try to show that we are build that trust, credibility in the market actually, and referral based on our loyal customers refer us to other friends. Our competition in the local market is LuxCaddy, Let's Shop, some other competitors in the same size. And or different with them is that we are marketplace. We are not a grocery store, and we have delivery, which is eco-friendly. We have eco-friendly concerns, which none of them has this concerns. And our global market competitors are Facebook, Instagram, Etsy, eBay, Amazon, all of those that are playing actually. But what makes us different is important. Or growing marketplace, and we have environmental concern. Our baskets are, for example, for vegetables are zero waste. We don't use any plastic, and we have on-time delivery, on a schedule, eco-friendly. We have basket subscription, so you save money, you save time. We give a safe harvest to farmers. And our roadmap, we launched 2020. Middle of the COVID, and we got 10 vendors, and we activated in November 2020, and we got 250 customers, 100 leads, 6,000 monthly visitors on the website, and minimum 1,000 monthly revenue. And our new vendors are launching their products, and our goal is for the next milestone to have a logistics center, building our team, growing our team, building the application that you open the app and you see all the products nearby you and you can purchase them, and expanding in the new markets. And our team is, I'm Sam Abdi, co-founder, CEO and founder and CTO of the Happy Local. I studied computer science all my life, and during my study at the University of Luxembourg, I launched this a startup at incubator of the university. It's based at the university actually, and Stefano is the recent team member of the Happy Local, which he's studied actually a lot about circular design, and he has very great background. And we are talking with few other people to getting them into the team for CFO and CMO. Thank you so much for attending my pitch, and hope to hearing your questions. Looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I'm going to hand it over to the floor. We've got time for one very quick question.
Sure.
Perhaps I can ask a question. I've recently moved to Luxembourg and am a customer of all of the players that you put on your screen today. I am also deeply involved in the agritech business on the pre-harvest side, and just this week spoke to the largest apple producer here, who didn't actually think that he was a very large business. I wonder what kind of feedback do you get from the local producers in terms of engaging on a local level as opposed to them exporting their produce?
Well, that's a big problem for the local producers, because the middleman is the winner. He imports from long distance and he pays €1 for the one that is producing there and imports it here, selling it €4, while the one that is importing here and has to sell it €5 cannot sell it because the other one is putting €3 in his pocket. And that's the problem, actually. That's the whole pain comes from here, because one person wins and the rest are all hurting here, like ecosystem, like the producer, planet, everything, and the middleman is only winning there. It's like how Jeff Bezos gets winner, right? So that's like, I think that's the problem. That's why I'm coming with this solution, and I have great hopes in this. Like I see, like they love this platform. Whomever sell with it, they love to work with it because it's free. Why not? It gives visibility. It adds to their revenue. It's free online shop, all in one solution, whatever they need. And yeah, so I hope to expand it in new markets. I hope this answered your question somehow. Yeah,
local impact. I love to hear it. Thank you so much for your time, Sam. And last but not least, I'm going to hand it now over to Anthony from StratifiCare. Anthony, thank you so much.
Thanks, Lisa. Hi, everyone. I'm Anthony from StratifiCare, and we provide insights on the body through proteins and artificial intelligence so that everyone everywhere can receive the best treatment. One of our products is StratifiRay, a liver cancer radioembolization effectiveness prediction test. So every year, approximately 1.5 million people are diagnosed with hepatocellular carcinoma, a major form of liver cancer, of which 68% of them cannot directly undergo surgery because they are considered mid to late stage palliative liver cancer patients. Very few treatments are available for them. One of them is radioembolization. The catch about radioembolization is that out of the 12 months that the patients are left with, 12 months of life, they have to spend 3 to 6 months waiting and spend up to $130,000 to see whether or not the treatment will work for them. Sadly, approximately the treatment only works for approximately 30% of the patients. So what StratifiRay can do is really to help determine whether or not a particular liver cancer patient belongs to this 30%. And we are looking at a global market opportunity of $3.3 billion. We are positioned to become the standard of care in radioembolization. We offer the highest accuracy in terms of prediction, and this product is co-developed with Beckman Coulter, a global market leader in critical flow cytometry. We are also part of a 25 million euros phase 2 clinical trial that's co-funded by Certex, the global market leader in radioembolization, and Roche Pharma. We make use of a decentralized development platform that leverages on core infrastructure, capabilities, and partners. So as shown on the left, other than StratifiRay, we have another product, StratifiDen, a severe dengue prediction test. And we are also currently evaluating other technologies that we can potentially add on to our pipeline. What's special about this platform is that we build dedicated and independent business units comprising of R&D and commercial personnel around each product. And by doing so, we can offer a higher ROI and help investors to spread the risk across several uncorrelated medical diagnostic products. We form dedicated domain teams, as mentioned earlier, so as to by relying on central facility, we can remove the redundancy in terms of capex and the money spent on building repeated infrastructure. We also offer a flexible exit mechanism whereby the sales of those independent business unit can trigger share buybacks for our investors. But having said that, we definitely welcome investors to stay with us all the way till we exit via IPO after Series B. This is our team. We have collectively 75 years of MedTech experience, 4 exits and 2 IPOs under our belt. We've worked with notable organizations such as Merck, Fujitsu, Novartis, WHO, Medtronic, and so on. We are currently raising funds to bring StratifiRay to a stage whereby it's ready for adoption by clinical laboratories. So we welcome investors to join our notable seed investors as shown over here to support our journey to provide the best treatments to everyone everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. And I'm going to open the questions up to the floor. No questions? Oh, Peter, thank you very much.
Yeah, our judge panel seems to be tired today. Hey, Anthony, great to see you again. Can you talk more about your business model? And what I mean is, are you planning on developing the products and then actually manufacture them? Or are you thinking more of licensing it to the pharmas to make their own product based on technology and collect royalties? What is your thinking in long term?
So for now, we are definitely just focusing on the development part, not doing manufacturing. By working with the big pharmas and big diagnostic companies from the beginning, like for example, Beckman Coulter in this case, they will take over the prototype. They can take over the prototyping. They can take over the manufacturing part. So it is in a way a smooth transition when they buy over the business unit eventually.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Anthony. And you're on the hunt for new IPs. How's that going for you?
So we've recently spoken to the University of Luxembourg on the colorectal prognostic and prediction biomarker. On that part, we are still doing our own market validation in Asia, and at the same time trying to understand and find out more about the technology.
Super. Great. Thank you so much for participating today. Ladies and
I have
gentlemen.
a quick question. Can I ask a quick question? What type of traction are you getting? Where are you? I wasn't clear was your revenue model. Can you talk a little bit about that and where you might be? Are you going to be generating revenue soon? I may have missed it, but can you elaborate on that, please? And the reason I'm asking, I saw some, just a broader point here. Today, I saw some fantastic companies doing remote monitoring in medical care. I'd like you all to send me some information because I'm working with an online platform that's going to be pretty powerful that can use all of your services. But continue, Anthony, tell me about your revenue model.
Sure. So when we build out a business, independent business unit, we build it with the intention of bringing the product to market ourselves. So for StratifiRay, what we are currently working towards is to push it out as a clinical laboratory developed test by the end of next year. And while we generate like revenue through the CRIA model, we will at the same time work towards getting full regulatory approval from FDA, from NMPA, and so on. After that, we will engage distributors to help us push the products to the various hospital and clinical laboratories. So pretty much the traditional kind of like product revenue model, but like this is in a way going for the long term, but ultimately we are positioning the independent business unit for acquisition by the big pharmas or the big diagnostic companies.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alvin. And so sorry, I didn't see your hand. Much appreciate you chiming in. Really appreciate it.
I don't seem to have that option up here to raise my hand.
Oh, just down the bottom, you'll see reactions. And in reactions, there's a raise hand.
Ah, there it is. Okay, usually it's right there.
No worries.
Too late now. We're done.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the pitching today. I would like to ask all judges to finalize their votes. And in the meantime, I'd like to draw your attention to our Unicorn Pitch event, which will be held live in Texas on the 23rd. We have the Unicorn Pitch events in Australia, in Luxembourg, in Arizona, and in Texas over the coming quarter. And we encourage you to join us at the oncoming events. For all of those founders today who have pitched, thank you very much for your pitch. We hope that you've had the chance to meet some fantastic investors here today, but also to look out in your inbox for those incoming inquiries from our She VC, Women VC, Transact, and European Women in VC networks, as well as our angel networks from both Republic and Allocations, who we work very closely with. Without further ado, I am going to ask for drum roll and I'm going to hand it over to my team at Unicorn Pitch. Bear with me one moment. Excellent. They're just drumming up the judges. I would like to throw it out to the floor. Founders, how was it pitching here at Unicorn Pitch today? Everyone's gone off video. I hope that's not a bad sign.
There were some very good presentations today.
It was good.
Yes, Lisa, I'm very happy to be here. I looked at some very good companies.
Also, the questions were very on point.
Yeah, as you know, part of being a founder is really identifying other founders that you can go on this journey with. And every time you meet an investor, ask them what else they're investing in and make sure you throw that lead out to the rest of the room. We are really in the eyes of the Hunger Games at this moment in terms of fundraising, and anything you can do to help yourself and help another founder. Just like founders hunt in packs, so too do VCs when raising money. We've got our own network of fellow VCs, and we recommend each other to our limited partners when we're out there hunting. And it's a very, very effective way in which we can get funds under management. And for you guys, it's a very effective way in which you can get funds in the door. I recently had a meeting with 120 of my Cool Water Capital VC friends across the planet. We were all rallying together to see how we're going to manage the next 6 months. I don't know if you've seen the latest statistics, and I'll post them in the chat here. But as you can see, the markets are all down, 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 and not looking very positive. There are a few things that you can expect to see from the global VC ecosystem. One is proactive write-downs as VCs look to preserve the companies in their portfolio and keep them alive. If you're not currently in the black and you need to raise more money, I want you to think deeply about how you're going to generate new revenues. And if you're pre-regulatory approval on the medical front, it might be a great opportunity to look at non-dilutive grant pathways as a way to top up the books for the short term. As you know, the European Union has 95 billion euros to invest, so there's never been a better time. On the other side, there is an immediate opportunity where people are providing both venture debt and venture equity. And so providing a mix of blended finance to founders. And we're also seeing a new type of VC step into the ecosystem, and they're providing revenue-based financing. So for those of you who've already hit the hockey stick and have predictable revenues, that's something to look out for. Interest rates are not kind. 25 to 30% interest on revenue-based financing is not cheap, almost as hard as your credit card. but it is something that is being provided in the ecosystem, and we are seeing many new emerging managers launch those types of funds. The last thing just to consider is many investors who are being asked to roll up their sleeves and save or turn around their companies are now not wanting to do that for free. And so you're seeing a lot of investors at this moment offer services in exchange for equity because there is no deployment of capital. As you know, last year was a bumper year for raising capital, right? Usually an investor has 3 to 4 years to deploy that capital. But many investors have chosen to finally take that long-awaited pandemic holiday that they didn't get to take for the last 3 years and wait for the markets to subside. And so a lot of doors are shuttered at this moment to investment committees and will not open most likely until post-September. I always think that times of difficulty are a great time for opportunity. And I believe that those who spend the next few months building relationships will in fact be those who win when the doors open again. And so my advice to you is seek a warm entrance, find someone who knows the person that you would like to fund you and get a warm introduction. You need at least 3 connections into that party usually to make it a truly warm introduction. What you want is for that relationship to be built on immediate trust if possible, as opposed to having to take a long time to get it. The second thing I would encourage you to do is to think deeply about your revenue mix and how you're going to drive only investments in direct costs. Anything that has an indirect cost at this moment will be seen as a nice to have. So just as you look at your own financial well-being, have a deep focus on your indirect costs and see how far you can wind them out of your business operations if they're unnecessary at this moment. We're also seeing a lot of companies that are built in anticipation of that customer, but that customer is not here yet and you still need to stay alive. And so be deeply cognizant about pursuing new aspirational R&D paths if you don't think that that capital is going to come in the short to medium term. Right now, for most companies, it's about staying alive and keeping that runway as long as possible to get to more stable markets. So that's the highlights of my GP calls over the last few weeks. I hope that's helpful to you. Just remember that the venture capitalist sitting in front of you is paid to give you money. Every time you open your mouth, what they're looking for is a reason to say no. Their front position is that they want to say yes. Most investors have 3 to 4 years to deploy that capital, so they can't hold on to that money forever. And so you want to be in that pipeline ready for deployment as soon as it's safe again. So I hope that's useful. I'm now going to go back to my friends at Unicorn Pitch and see who are the winners. And the results are in. We actually have a tie for first place. And I wonder if this is a premonition for the future. The winning seats go to VoiceMed and Meracle, who tie for first place. Congratulations to Rachel and Arianna. Well done. And third place goes to our good friends at Cake Equity and Detexian, who tie for third place. So congratulations to all of our winners today. For those of you who have not won, you have won, because now you know a whole bunch of investors that you didn't know before. And most importantly, you now know us. And so let us know how we can help you in the ecosystem to connect to customers, to connect to capital, or to support you on your R&D pathways. A huge thanks to our judges who've joined us today from all over the world. Thank you for taking your time. We really sincerely appreciate it. And thank you to Stéphane Pech from the Luxembourg PE and Venture Capital Association. We really sincerely appreciate your inputs.
Thank you, Lisa, also to you. As a VoiceMed, we would like to say that at the end of the year, our product is launched in the market and everyone can actually use it. It's more powerful for people with asthma, but the first product is going to be available for anyone. So we would like also your feedback on the product besides on the investment, because it's very important to breathe and to do more activities. So that's our call of action.
Super. And can I ask you and Rachel and all of our winners to just say a few words? So Thank you, Arianna. I'll hand over to you, Rachel.
Thank you, Lisa, for this opportunity. I think from both Arianna and myself, we are very happy that it's a vote for respiratory therapy and respiratory disease. And I think that is something that we are happy to bring forward and create more awareness with. And yeah, thank you for this opportunity.
Super. And thank you to Detexian and Cake, who I'm sure in Australia, it's now past midnight, they have gone to bed. I will be sure to pass on the accolades. Can I ask everyone to just throw on their camera? I'm going to take a quick photograph for today. So Sam, if you don't mind to throw on your photo. Anahita, if you don't mind to throw on your camera as well. Excellent. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask you to say smile. Or as my husband says, fromage. There we go. Thank you, everybody. Have a lovely day. And I look forward to seeing you at our next Unicorn Pitch event. Good night.
And
You too,
Lisa.
Thanks a lot. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Lisa.
Everyone.
Bye, Peter. Bye, guys.